And let's, of course, get into the newspapers this morning, share with you the major stories making headlines across the news. We're starting with the Punch newspapers this morning in Nigeria. It says here, Naira slump. The CBN clamps down on speculators, restricts diaspora remittances. I saw yesterday that the CBN, of course, still had a few more, moves up its sleeve it was trying to make to rescue the Naira and save it from this collapse that it has been experiencing.
That few more moves better be CPR.
Yes.
And that CPR better work. And they better increase it to the maximum capacity.
I agree. It has to be CPR. Yeah, they have to bring the defibrillators over.
Yes. And put it on. I say count 1, 2, 3.
And yes.
Nah.
Yeah, it's
because right now it's not looking
we're
good.
We're almost getting to life support level.
Exactly. We're almost at life support level. Analysts will tell you that in the coming months, if we're not careful, we're going to head to 1,500 Naira to the dollar. And that will be chaos, anarchy. What the most...
I'm hoping, that this is a CBN that
knows
I don't
what
know.
It's doing.
Knows what it's doing first of all, but also, is able to checkmate itself or put itself in check. Because, the former CBN did everything possible, but it didn't seem like a lot worked. The Naira continued to slump. So hopefully
the Naira
this one
should have been a good idea. Unfortunately, all the other indices required for the Naira to gain when it's been floated. But now that they're allowing supply and demand and the forces of market to determine the strength of the Naira, those other indices are not there. So I don't know how we're going to get out of this. But
so it almost feels like this is the reality of the value of the Naira.
Yes.
And whatever we're doing before was fake. We basically were masking what our reality was.
With the CBN rates and the parallel rates,
Until we're able to take that veil off and then reveal the truth. It feels like putting makeup on a masquerade. Now we see the real value of the Naira and how it, very likely will continue to, depreciate. But also, on the Punch this morning, Niger, U.S. backs ECOWAS, demands more pressure on the current junta. Bandits allegedly down Nigerian Air Force helicopter, killed 13 soldiers. A really shocking story there. Some reports say the death toll is even more. NLC protest proposed fuel price hike, threatens first strike. Also on the Punch this morning, Ogun, Kebbi Customs seize ammunition, petrol and foreign rice. And diesel price hits 950 naira per litre. Manufacturers fear job losses. It's not just the big manufacturers now. I feel bad for even those who are running their small companies that have to rely on diesel generators. It must be really, 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 a trying time for them. Federal government extradites siblings to United States for sexual extortion trial. Good luck to both of them. Osun invokes no work, no pay for striking poly workers. These are the stories on the Punch newspapers this morning, but we're still here in Nigeria. Let's move to the Guardian next.
All right, on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, the big story says, of course, there's a header that says, palliatives, government silent 4 days to 8-week deadline for talks. Well, we still have 4 days. Anything can happen miraculously overnight, so we'll just wait and see what happens. Tinubu's reforms face stress tests amid labor threats and FX scarcity. Fuel at 617 naira to the litre, set to rise further as naira weakens. I think we already knew this. Even worse might be that then there might now be scarcity in addition to the fuel rise, and that would be very terrible. Nigerians face more hardship as transport fares jump by 120.6%. How are Nigerians faring? That's a question that I have no answer for. Niger, U.S. mounts pressure on Tinubu as ECOWAS fumes over mixed signals. PPT, Ohaneze urges Nigerians to brace for surprise verdict. Seplat Energy recommits to safety and environmental sustainability. Nigeria accumulated 44 trillion naira deficit in 24 years. These are the stories this morning on The Guardian. Let's still stay within Nigeria and see what's on the Daily Trust.
All right, moving into the Daily Trust this morning, I think it's also important to quickly say, God bless you if you're a landlord in this period and you have an increased rent.
Honestly.
Because I know that it must be very tempting with the way that things are across Nigeria. It must be very tempting to, increase your rent for your tenants. But everyone is struggling. So if you're a landlord and you still have not, then of course, God bless you, and I hope that you're able to continue to, survive these trying times. Shout out to my landlord.
Honestly, at this point.
On the Daily Trust newspapers this morning, bandits kill many soldiers in Niger. Pilot dies as Nigerian Air Force helicopter crashes. Sad story there. Military mom on attack on personnel. And also, Senator urges deployment of operatives to troubled communities. It's just a reminder that Nigeria still has its internal security challenges.
Of course,
this is not a time when we should be getting involved or letting our soldiers go into a different war entirely, or intervene in security challenges in a different country entirely. We have internal security challenges that we are still getting I don't want to say overwhelmed with, but we're still dealing with. Well, I mean, let's give the army some credit.
Yes, they have tried,
yeah.
But they still have a lot on their hands, a lot on their plates to deal with.
Yeah. Senator urges deployment of operatives to troubled communities, and also a clerk and wife and children abducted in Kaduna.
That's a security challenge on our hands that we're talking about.
Petrol now 650 naira to a litre in Borno or your Delta as queues return to Lagos.
Oh
I haven't
my goodness, I need to
noticed
top
any
up my
queues
fuel
yet, but
today.
I'm sure that they will come back. More woes for passengers as NCAA slams fresh suspension on Max Air. CBN moves to rescue Naira, sanction banks over foul play, and also we fear coercion will split our families in Niger and Nigeria, residents with dual citizenship. We can also find on the bottom of your screen there, work peacefully with NNPP government in Kano, Ganduje tells lawmakers. And also this morning on the Daily Trust newspapers, the final story that we can quickly share there. It says the UN, US, ECOWAS flay Niger's junta's plan to prosecute Bazoum. Ritualists disguised as laborers kill Ondo pastor on farmland.
That's a sad story.
Really sad one.
All right. Let's move away from the Daily Trust to the Nation newspaper. This morning on the front page of the Nation says, First Lady hails Super Falcons for superlative World Cup performance. Forex crisis, CBN likely to flood markets with dollar. Really? Is that the CPI they have up their sleeves? Tinubu okays Apex Bank's plan to stabilize the currency volatility. How to strengthen the Naira by experts. CBN hammers to fall on senators. Is that correct? Am I saying that correctly? Or on speculators? Okay, I'll come back to that. It's not quite clear. U.S. presses ECOWAS to pile more pressure on Niger junta. No to Bazoum trial. Akinyemi endorses actions. Air Force probes helicopter shutdown claim by bandits. Kaduna-bound MI-171 chopper crashes near Zungeru. Customs intercepts ammunition stacked in 20 sacks in Ogun. Otudeko, Otedola feud at center of FBN AGM. This has been an ongoing case and still is. NEMA warns of flooding in Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, and 16 others. This is a very important story. They're warning of the flooding. I don't know if we have alternatives. I don't know how bad it will get. But then when the flood starts and people are displaced of their homes, I remember what happened last year in Bayelsa State. I hope that we don't have a repeat, but NEMA is already warning. I don't know what that will mean next. Marketers put petrol ex-depot price at 600 naira. And final story, Akeredolu's wife, hopeful governor will return soon. We are hopeful with her as well. Wish him all the best, or wish them all the best. That's all we can take on the front pages of the newspapers. We'll go on a break. When we return, our top stories for the second hour will be coming your way. Stay with us.